Broadcasting to you live from the Orion Spiral Arm of the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of the Strait of Hormuz. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Thursday, May 21, 2026, and this right here, the thing that you are watching, is called the TNAM Daily Show. Larger, the TNAM Daily Show, because the news always matters. You found us here on the new American media because the old American media has failed you. Here you go. The new American media. Here you go. We'll put it in the corner of the screen. We're going to talk today. Are the Democrats still cheating? Let's do a deep dive into California, shall we? Combine that with Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, New Mexico, Arizona. Trying to remember all the fraud states, swing states. Remember the ones where Trump was winning by hundreds of thousands and they, you know what? We're not going to be able to finish counting for a while until we know exactly how many votes we need to win. Remember when that happened? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Also, does it make sense that Colorado is punishing their governor for freeing Tina Peters? Tina, who saw some election irregularities and wanted to call attention to it, threw her in jail. Okay. Trump went 37-0 in the primaries yesterday. Okay. The people he put out there. Okay. Alien invasion? Ticks? Oh, we have so much news. So I say, doggone it, buckle up, buttercups. The TNAM Daily Show starts now.
Guide to the Truth, the new AmericanMedia.com.
Oh, that whole intro, man. Trying to remember who's all in it. Rest in peace to John McAfee, Charlie Kirk, Sean Flynn, my bandmate who moved across the country from Ohio to Los Angeles with me and then died in a motorcycle crash. That's him saying, your guide to the truth, the new AmericanMedia.com. That's him. And then to my brother Chris, who made that song. Life is fleeting, so you might as well live it while you're here. Hello to everybody in chat. We got Northern David checking in from Canada. Southern John, Southern Marion checking in from California. What's up? Dina. Hello, Dina. Where are you from, Dina? Michigan, I believe. You're from like right there on the hand. Says cheating is their middle name. Duh. Yeah, the Democrats. Exactly. Everybody hit the thumbs up button, hit like, hit subscribe. If you're on a device that lets you hit the thumbs up button or the heart button or the confetti button, on YouTube or whatnot, please do that. Share the show with your friends. Hello, Droopy Dog. Welcome to my bar. My name is Brian, the bartender. Belly on up to the bar. We're hanging out for lunch here. When my shift is over after lunch, I'm going to slide you a tab. It's going to say $0, but there will be a tip line. If anybody wants to support the New American Media and the TNAM Daily Show, you can sign up on Patreon, the New American Media, Rumble, the New American Media, YouTube, the New American Media. And in those places, you can become a monthly subscriber. Thank you to everybody who has. And if you haven't yet, please consider doing so. It matters. It all matters. You can drop a tip. You can throw silver coins into my tip jar behind me. Rumble rant tips, super chat tips, Venmo, Cash App, my name. Let me put it up on the screen, Brian Engelman. And then PayPal, Fuzz Installment at Yahoo. Everybody hit the thumbs up button on the device that you are watching from. Let's go to the stories, shall we? TNAM Animal Rescue shared this. It says dog falls into the, how do you pronounce that? Seine River in France as people rush to help. This dog's fine, man. Look at it. Gotta mute it because we can't have music. They're trying to lower people down to get this poor dog. Oh, buddy. I can't get to it. You know, society is often judged on how we treat our elderly and our animals. I mean, they're trying to get it. They're like, well, it's not going to work going straight down. Maybe we can get that dog over here. Going for help.
Allez. Oui.
Hey, the dog's swimming. That's good news. Go to the people. Whoa.
Non, descends pas, toi.
Like a good story to start off the night. Nice fair hugging the dog. That guy actually did jump in. Let's know.
Bravo.
There you go. Sleep in society restored. And to the ladies and the dogs barking directions at them. Look, we started off the show good. Something inspiring. In a way, this is inspiring. It's okay. I mean, no, it's not. But what the fuck can I do about it? I mean, it's okay. I mean, no, it's not. What the fuck can I do about it? Anybody else feeling this? I do sometimes. All right, flock cameras. Let's take a look at what's been happening. They're invading our country. I don't remember voting for this.
Remember, kids, the next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh, yes, they would.
You gotta mute it. Every dot is a new flock camera. Like a virus that spread all across our country from January 24 to May of 26. Jason Bassler says we need to talk about flock. In the past year alone, at least 14 documented cases of officers using license plate readers to stalk women. At least 13 documented cases where flock algorithm errors led to innocent people being arrested. Tens of thousands of improper ALPR searches with no case number or justification. Hundreds of agencies like ICE, ATF, DHS accessing flock data that cities never approved. This is not a glitch, it's a pattern, safety theater with real-world consequences. Do any of you flick off the cameras when you drive past a flock camera? States now blocking flock FOIA requests. Open records laws expose ALPR surveillance. Now lawmakers across the country want to shut the records down with pending bills already in Arizona and Connecticut. Public safety turned into public secrecy real quick once the public starts asking questions. Every place I've been, every route I've driven, every stop I've made, all of it in a government database, all of it searchable, all of it without a warrant. That's not freedom. It's a mass surveillance nightmare of everyone. Police abuse and stalking, tracking protesters and dissent, data shanned nationwide, privacy destroyed, false stops and errors, and expungful stops and errors. This meme with the crackhead Dave Chappelle. Has anyone measured how much copper is in a flock camera? Asking for some local crackheads who might do more to save privacy than our elected officials now. There they are. Have you noticed them going up? Don't tread on me. How about don't spy on me? All right. Haven't heard more about this. David Harris shares this video. A car has exploded by the bull statue in New York.
Araba yaptı.
Vehicle reported as a silver or dark SUV, possibly an Infiniti, caught fire near Broadway and Stone Street, Lower Manhattan's financial district, just steps from the iconic charging bull statue at Bowling Green. The fire led to a loud explosion, a large fireball, and thick black smoke, causing panic among pedestrians and tourists who ran from the scene. No injuries or fatalities reported. FDNY responded quickly, extinguished it, and brought it under control. Routine vehicle fire. No signs of foul play or terrorism. Routine vehicle fire. Area is a busy tourist spot near Wall Street, so videos spread rapidly on social media. The charging bull itself was not damaged. This was a dramatic but contained incident in a high visibility location, says Tony Segura. Okay, then. Yeah, Mom Donnie, you're welcome. That was on purpose. Could have been. I don't know. All right, let's take a listen. It's official. A grand jury in Florida indicts former Cuban dictator Raul Castro, brother of Fidel. Take a listen.
Mr. Castro and the others are charged with additional crimes as well, including destruction of aircraft and 4 individual counts of murder. The indictment was returned by a grand jury sitting in this district in Miami on April 23rd, 2026, and was unsealed today. For nearly 30 years, the families of 4 murdered Americans have waited for justice. On February, this is a story all too familiar. On February 24th, 1996, 2 civilian aircraft operated by Brothers to the Rescue were shot down over international waters by military aircraft from Cuba. 4 men were killed: Carlos Costa, Armando Alejandro Jr., Mario de la Peña, and Pablo Morales. They were unarmed civilians and were flying humanitarian missions for the rescue and protection of people fleeing oppression across the Florida Straits. As alleged in the indictment, Raul Castro and 5 co-defendants participated in a conspiracy that ended with Cuban military aircraft firing missiles at those civilian planes and killing 4 Americans. Mr. Castro and the others are charged.
All right, so that's happening. All eyes on Cuba. Byron Donalds says, today's indictment will help secure long-awaited justice for the people of Cuba and Cuban Americans. Extradite this murderous tyrant and have him stand trial in Florida so he can face the families of his many victims. That's Byron Donalds. All right, running TNAM preparedness. This starts like satire, then it gets weirdly practical. This video is imagining a low-tech survival kit for a future where autonomous robot dogs are no longer just demos, but something people might actually need to understand. From the Long Live AI account. Here, let's play you this one. This might be the one everybody watched. You gotta mute it. There you go. Oh, wait. Oh, you are more like a beard of green. It's fun to laugh at this now, but these are just the beta tests. Picks it up by the scruff of the neck. And, all right. I'm just going to take you off stage. Yeah, actually impressive footwork timing and human-like motion. Until it suddenly lost balance, stumbled, and collapsed mid-song. This is all super funny until it's not. Yeah, for a robot-free house, just build steps. You just drag him up. Like a Showtime at the Apollo, and the Sandman comes out with the shepherd's crook. Anyway, here, watch this video.
Finding cover don't work, your next move is to trap the robotic threat.
Oh, trap the robotic threat.
To do this, you'll need what's called an anti-QRA survival pack.
I hope you all have an anti-QRA survival pack.
A mobile toolkit designed to confuse and evade autonomous agents. Think of it as your everyday carry for a dystopian future.
Anti-QRA survival pack. What's inside? First, a balaclava and sunglasses to block facial recognition algorithms. Next, flares to scramble their thermal imaging. The fact that we're even considering such things lets us know, oh, it's been a good run. We've had a good run. and a powder-based fire extinguisher to create an instant cloud of dust, blinding their sensors. You'll also want a high-powered laser or a paintball gun to directly blind their expensive LiDAR cameras. To physically stop them, carry a heavy throwing net to entangle their legs, or a strong fishing magnet attached to a rope to snap into their metal chassis and tie them down. But be warned, these tools aren't foolproof.
If your trap fails, your final option is to use these items as a distraction while you fall back to your primary safe zone.
Usually, this means heading straight home. Why? Because nowhere is truly safe anymore. Fresh water, the countryside, just as dangerous, food stores, as the city. But your home gives you the ultimate advantage of familiar terrain. In a world where rogue tech is hunting you, your best chance of survival isn't running into the unknown, it's defending the ground you already know. But I know all of you already know that. If running and finding cover don't work, now you trap the robotic threat. All right, well, the more you know. Now you know. Tick traps for the yard. Spend less time on TikTok and more time on tick traps. This was pretty funny. Playing dumb with a scammer.
Can you say your address?
I am address.
No. I meant say your address.
You are address?
No. You don't understand what I'm trying to say.
No. Sorry, I don't understand because sorry, I don't speak English very well. I speak English 50-50.
So where do you live?
Okay. So if I am address, I live in a closet.
You have a mental issue.
No, I don't have metal shoes. My shoes are like Adidas.
Can you say your address?
I am address.
I am address. Say your address. I am address. You gotta fight back. I'm gonna play this, and our question is this a real call? Matthew Crooks' 911 call?
Breaking massive freaking news, and literally nobody else seems to be talking about it. Matthew Crooks' 911 call was just released by a forced court order thanks to Judicial Watch. It's kind of strange how nobody's talking about it. It should be massive news. Anyway, take a listen.
Go ahead, caller. Can I help you?
Hi, yes, my name's Matthew Crooks. I was calling in regards to my son, Thomas. He belongs to the...
Okay, hold on. Looking it up here from Judicial Watch.
Castle Park Queen. This is Allegheny with the transfer. Go ahead, caller. Can I help you?
Hi, yes, my name's Matthew Crooks. I was calling in regards to my son, Thomas.
Appears to be accurate.
Club in Clareton,
Okay.
and I don't have the number for Jefferson Police on hand. The reason I'm calling is he left the house here at about 1:45 this afternoon, and we've gotten no contact from him, no text messages, nothing's been returned, and he's not home yet. That's totally not like him, so we're kind of worried, not really sure what we should do.
Okay. And you're at...
Yes.
All right. Okay. Hold on 1 second for me. What's a good phone number for you? All right. How old is he?
He's 20 years old.
All right. And you said it was about 1:45 today?
Yeah, about 1:45 this afternoon. Like I said, he belongs to the Clareton Sportsman Club or Gun Club, and he took a rifle of his out there, and it's routine. He always does it, but he's usually back within 2 hours.
Okay.
And we've been texting him, leaving him messages on his phone. He's not been returning any of our texts or messages, which is totally not like him. And, you know, we're going on 11 o'clock, and he still hasn't come back or contacted us, so we're kind of worried. We don't know if he's been in an accident or if something else happened to him.
Okay, I was going to say, just keep your phone handy and I'll get somebody to come and help you, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate
You're welcome.
it. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Breaking
All right. So do you believe he acted alone? I don't. I think it is a real call. Judicial Watch put it out on their site. Jesse Waters. More UFO docs.
Got our hands on new UFO docs. The Disclosure Foundation's FOIA'd the NSA for 300 new pages. We're still digging through them, but some of this stuff's shocking. According to the docs, back during the Cold War, the Soviets scrambled 13 MiG fighter jets to chase down one UFO. Another time, jets were deployed to hunt down 23 UFOs flying at 70,000 feet. The Russians probably thought we were coming to bomb them. Was it an American spy plane, a balloon, an alien? We don't know. Every time we get more files, we have more questions like, where are the little green men?
Where's the alien?
So that's my question to you.
Is it too much to ask that if you've got him in the back shed, just bring out the alien? Then we would all transition from asking one another, do you believe in aliens, to, well, yeah, of course, the alien's there.
Steven Spielberg's waiting for a call back. He made half his career off aliens, but they never stopped by.
I've made all these movies where I've kind of played an ambassadorial role. They've never shown themselves to me. Why is that? It's so unfair.
They are rolling this out.
We all grew up watching his movies. Back then it felt like science fiction, but now, not so much.
When I made Close Encounters, for me,
how many UFO movies has Spielberg made?
It was a story that I thought, wouldn't it be great when this movie comes out? Wouldn't it be great if people like this movie, they come out and they see Close Encounters? And wouldn't it be great if this someday could all come true?
Congress wants answers too. House Republicans think private contractors know something we don't. One congressman just sent a letter to MIT demanding a classified video called Flying Saucer Talk from the 50s. The first batch of the files dropped a few weeks ago. The Department of War says more are coming soon. Not sure what the holdup is. It's not like Pete's been busy with anything. We just got our...
Yeah, he hasn't been busy. More on UFOs in a second. Australian actress Holly Valance says, well, she has thoughts on politics.
And have you always been a right-of-centre person, or are you conservative? Where are you politically?
I would say that everyone starts off as a lefty and then wakes up at some point after you start either making money, working, trying to run a business, trying to buy a home, and then realise what crap ideas they all are.
And have you always been a right-of-centre person, or are you conservative? Where are you politically?
I would say that everyone starts off as a lefty and then wakes up at some point after you start either making money, working, trying to run a business, trying to buy a home, and then realise what crap ideas they all are.
And have you always been a right-of-centre?
Then you realize how crap their ideas are. Hard to disagree. They say if you're young and you don't vote left, you don't have a heart. If you grow up and you don't vote right, you don't have a brain. That's a pretty interesting one. Hey, let's check in on Karen Bass talking about non-citizens voting in elections.
I know that there are some cities that already do this, but politics is all about timing.
Yeah, it's all about timing, and timing, you're cheating.
With Donald Trump in the White House, is this the right time for Los Angeles to go down this path?
Well, I think we need to explore it. Now,
I know that there are some cities that
they need to explore it. Oh, you're going to explore it. Okay. We played you something about ShotSpotter being stopped in, I believe it was Maryland, maybe Baltimore, yesterday. Now, apparently, they're trying to turn off ShotSpotter in Chicago.
So there's an older system that's deployed in many cities called ShotSpotter.
What's it called?
It's called ShotSpotter.
ShotSpotter?
ShotSpotter.
ShotSpotter. Oh, ShotSpotter. Like
ShotSpotter.
someone shooting.
Spot somebody shooting.
Sounds very German. Schatzbatter. It sounds very like very Nazi.
Several umlauts on top. So ShotSpotter is an older system that works very well. It's deployed in many cities. And what it is, totally different system. What it is they put these precision microphones on top of rooftops all over the city. And then when a gunshot goes off, they're able to instantly triangulate that a gunshot has gone off and specifically where the gunshot went off. This has two big benefits. Benefit number one is you have a better chance of catching the perpetrator because you can instantly respond to the gunshot. You don't have to wait for somebody to call it in or if somebody calls it in. Number two, if somebody's been shot and they're bleeding in the street, you can immediately roll the ambulance to the location and you can save lives. And so historically it's considered a double win. Chicago got so wrapped up on these political issues that they also, not only did they not have flock, they also turned off their ShotSpotter system voluntarily. And so people now get shot in Chicago and they bleed out on the street and nobody knows and nobody cares.
And what is the argument that they make?
So there's an older system that's deployed in many cities called ShotSpotter.
That's the argument they make. They don't want to arrest the bad guys. All right. Back to aliens. Let's talk about the aliens.
So I saw this on the national news today where they said that the government has found four
different types of aliens. First type is a gray. Right there. And there's a Nordic alien that resembles a 7-foot tall Swedish man. And we have the insectoid type, resembling a grasshopper or a praying mantis. And then a reptilian type alien.
I mean, I don't really take any of the alien news serious.
The government released these records. Don't take it seriously, he says. Are we being monitored by these things? What's going on? It says, I'm not really worried about the gray or the insect or the reptilian.
Fucking Nordic ass alien? There's an alien
that resembles a 7-foot tall, elvish looking Swedish man. You know, these bastards got some kind of nuclear ion laser cannons ready to wipe out the Earth. Is it time to begin the War of the Stars? Or should I say Star Wars? So, I mean, just every day, drip, 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 we're getting more and more of the story. The gray, the Nordic, the insectoid, and the reptilian. They all walk into the bar. You've heard that joke before. A gray, a Nordic, an insectoid, and a reptilian walk into a bar. All right, Jeff Bezos is making some headlines with his interview on Squawk Box. They seem to be confused as to why they would lay people off.
Markets. Yeah. I was asking about the news market.
Yeah.
Because you own the Washington Post.
Yes.
And one of the critiques, by the way, and this is maybe the wealth critique and everything else, is we just said the company laid off about 30% of its staff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there who said Jeff's super wealthy. He's talked about this being a public trust. It's something that he bought early on. How much you care about that piece of it. Why lay people off? Why fire people? Why don't you subsidize the business if, in fact...
Because the Post needs to be a profitable enterprise that stands on its own 2 feet. It needs to be...
Yes. I mean, that's a question. Some people say it should be a trust.
And let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because it's a measure of its relevance. If people won't pay for our product, we're not doing... it's not a good enough product. It's like, doing... it would be like poetry without rhyming. It's too easy. So it's got to be something that people will pay for because that's a signal.
Right.
It's a signal that we're providing a relevant service. Your paper, the New York Times, you guys make a ton of money. You guys are doing very well financially, and you're providing a service that people are willing to pay for.
Talking about markets.
Yeah.
I was asking about the news market.
But people are not paying for his outlet, the Washington Compost. Okay, here's the report. Jesse Waters, he goes on.
Another scientist called them greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails, like a lizard. Insectoids look like a praying mantis. The greys look like your classic movie alien, and the Nordics look like a regular Swedish guy, but 7 feet tall.
What you're going to find if you look closely is that these creatures have been mentioned in almost every ancient text and mythology.
I have seen evidence in a skiff that leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion.
Another scientist called them greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians.
This is slow disclosure. Here's a fun fact. 1 chicken can eat up to 331 ticks in just 30 minutes to an hour. Chickens can get Lyme disease, but their immune system fights it off quickly in 97 to 100% of cases. Did you know? Moral of the story. Where was that? Moral of the story, says Ortho. Get a suppressor for the alien story. If there's all these new threats that we're suddenly aware of, okay. Moral to this other story is get some chickens. If everybody had chickens, they'd be eating around for ticks. Cool. Oh, I'm not following that account. Who is that? Steading RD. All right, I'll follow. Question of the day. How many of you have chickens? Tell me in chat. Hit the thumbs up button, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe. Remember, you can drop a Rumble Rant tip or a Super Chat tip if you're having a good time here going through the news. Doge designer says an 18-year-old gets stabbed in the street where he's running for his life and begging for help. Instead of saving him, the police handcuff him while he bleeds out because the attacker claimed racism. They let him choke on his own blood. No urgency, no humanity, just cold. Ideological policing. Months later, still no names, no suspensions, no accountability. Meanwhile, the same UK police have arrested over 12,000 people for social media posts. They move at lightning speed to jail citizens for tweets and online comments. Yet they can't even name or discipline the officers allegedly let a stabbing victim die in handcuffs on the street. This is the definition of two-tier policing. Aggressive against ordinary people speaking online, but protective when it comes to their own failures in protecting the narrative. The British people deserve real justice, not another cover-up. Justice for Henry Nowak. Elon says there were massive international protests over George Floyd. And those police involved were severely punished with long prison sentences, yet the police responsible here didn't even lose their jobs. Everybody's laughing at the robot. Yep. Just kidding. And she was more like a beauty queen and look at me. Ah. Oh boy. Here's some robots on their way to take over the world. Oh!
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday.
Boy. Oh! Laugh it up now. Laugh it up now while we can. Ortho has chickens in his freezer. Yeah, that's a good place for him. Question of the day, Trash Panda, Texas, no chickens, but growing up on the farm, we had cows, horses, chickens, and pigs. Yeah. I want to get some. We shall see. All right, Matt Walsh reacting to this. Did you know it was easier for illegal aliens to get a mortgage than it is for you, an American?
Started doing foreclosures on undocumented properties. I just left one. Pizza boxes, open, pizza was still there. All the food was still in the pantry. They grabbed whatever valuables they could, left everything else behind. These are foreclosures, so these are homes that were bought using FHA, guaranteed by the government for undocumented people. Last month, over 252,000 people were deported in Texas alone. So all of a sudden, we're starting to see the effects now.
Under the Biden administration, the Federal Housing Administration began insuring mortgages by private lenders to non-citizens. These loans are intended for low-income Americans, but instead, foreigners, people who are not even citizens, are getting them. Yes, non-citizens, even if they didn't have a steady income or collateral or good credit, have been walking into new homes by putting only 3.5% down. So while you were doing the responsible thing and saving up $80,000 to put down on your $400,000 home, an illegal alien only had to spend around $14,000 for the same home. That's what you've been competing against.
This week, I started doing foreclosures on undocumented.
We got to change that around in this country.
Why
Perfect question. Why hasn't Tony Fauci been arrested?
hasn't Tony Fauci been indicted?
According to Rand Paul, Fauci approaches Biden in his advanced state of cognitive decline, and Fauci requests 10 years of clemency. So why would a doctor who's head of the National Immunology, Allergy, and Infectious Disease branch of the NIH for decades and the lead coronavirus advisor, why would he ask for 10 years of clemency?
What do you think that he knew?
He must know that he's committed grave crimes. Fauci fraudulently concealed the source of the virus, put us way behind on early treatment in our response, and people's lives were lost. His second crime is he actively worked to
This part here, suppressing all treatment types, except the ones he was making money off.
suppress treatment of all type. And his third crime was he relentlessly pushed genetic, grossly unsafe vaccines.
For countervailing views on health and elections and vaccines, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control. They'd probably disagree with you on all those points, Doctor, if that is your real title, Mr. Peter McCullough. Here's Della watching boomers rejoice gleefully from the mountaintops because Israel paid $20 million for a seat in the U.S. Congress and beat out a man who wanted to put pedos in prison, ban glyphosate and data centers, and took $0 from Israel. So is that a win? Thomas Massey gone? Some say yes. All right. Another reminder about ticks. Know your parasites. The top left is a deer tick. The top right is a wood tick. Bottom left is the Lone Star tick. It has a star on it. And then the bottom is a lunatic. That would be Bill Gates. A lunatic. Just so you know. Hey, here's another good story. Look at this video. How did this woman walk away? 19-year-old Michigan woman speaks out after surviving a deadly crash in which her car split in half caused by a drunk driver.
First thing I said as soon as I opened my eyes, thank you, God, thank you, God. Like, I didn't know if I was alive or not, but I was just thankful. And then I lost my glasses, but the first thing that I could see was a Taco Bell sign, like a few blocks away. I was just happy I was alive. I could care less about my car at that point.
All right, 19-year-old Michigan woman. Good for her. Jeez. That was brutal footage there. How did she walk out of that?
With these new
Adrian Norman says Stacey Abrams warns that the recent Supreme Court decision making it harder to challenge racial gerrymandering could not only result in Democrats losing up to 20 congressional seats, but they could also lose 191 state seats. The map is moving fast, and Tim Pool says, thank effing God.
New maps. We know that analysis by Fair Fight and Black Voters Matter show that we could lose 19 to 20 congressional seats, but we could lose up to 191 state legislative seats. And in the South, those state legislators draw city council districts, county commission districts, school board districts, and they draw state legislative lines. And so if you want to know if your child is going to have fair and equitable access to education, that will be diminished if your families can't participate in elections and elect leaders who value your education. If you want health care in the South, it's the state legislature that decides whether you have access. All of the things that disproportionately harm communities of color will now be decided by people who disproportionately dislike and vote against the needs of people of color. But what we have to remember, and this is why I started the 10 Steps campaign, this is a national fight. It may start in the South, but it has national implications. Progress that serves the most disproportionately harmed communities lifts everyone. But if we do not do so, if we allow the suppression of Black...
Yeah, suppression. Democrats have been absolutely addicted to racial separatism, racial strife, racial anger, racial politics. And we are not doing that anymore.
Black and brown votes. We are harming their...
About American votes, not hyphenated American votes.
Neighbors, and we're harming the U.S., and that's why we cannot allow the South to be left behind. We need national intervention because they are starting in the South. But this is a national attempt to misuse democratic institutions to suppress all of the communities who fight for democracy in this country. With these new maps, we know that analysis by Fair Fight and Black Voters Matter show that we could lose 19 to 20 congressional seats, but we could lose up to 191 state legislative seats. And in the South, those state legislators...
All right. Well, some would call that a win. Now we just get to be American seats, not splitting people up. Holistic Grenade, talking about the fear of spending time in nature.
No, I'm not scared of getting bit by a tick. This is because they want us to be scared of spending time in nature more than they want us to be allergic to red meat and dairy. I understand that if I get bit by a tick and somehow become allergic to red meat and dairy, allergies are not permanent. I can simply reintroduce small amounts of those superfoods into my diet until my body readjusts and no longer reacts negatively. There's way too many people online saying that they're not going to go outside in nature this summer because they don't want to become allergic to red meat and dairy. This is what it's all about. It's about fear and control. If you don't want to be a slave to the matrix, you need to understand just how intelligent your body is, and no matter what happens, it can always heal, and you will always be better off with a connection to nature under the sunlight, ignoring the experts. No, I'm not scared of getting bit by a tick. This is because they want...
All right.
No, I'm
just very into this tick story, and I want to avoid it. I want all of you to avoid getting bit. If that's fair to say. Danielle Gill says the left's attacks on singer Ella Langley for following the Charlie Kirk show on TikTok have backfired now that Ella has been named the Country Female Artist of the Year. Thank you, Jesus, for letting me do this for a living. Congratulations, Ella. So the left was attacking her for following the Charlie Kirk show? Okay. All right, then. Tom Renz asks, is Bill Gates behind the tick explosion in Ohio? Attorney Tom Renz. The tick explosion in Ohio is so severe that the Rutherford B. Hayes Presidential Library in Fremont, Ohio, had to post a warning. Gates is funding tick research, has spoken out about reducing access to red meat, is allegedly funding scientists and bioethicists who argue in favor of allowing red meat allergies to spread. It's poison. It's not an allergy. And pharma companies are now working on Lyme disease vaccines. The globalists are coming after you wherever you are, and even Fremont, Ohio isn't immune from this nonsense. Ohio Department of Health, be tick smart. Wear repellent, check for ticks daily, shower soon after being outdoors, call your doctor if you get a fever or a rash. Okay. Gentry Geevers says, Democrats are so incredibly unpopular right now. I wish more people talked about this, but everyone's trying to talk about how MAGA is dead. It's a weird take. Democrat Party approval rating, according to Open Source Zone. Disapproval rate, 72% disapproval. 20% approval rate. That's negative 52%. Negative 52. This is from a Quinnipiac poll, May 14 through 18. Yeah, they've been steady, Democrats at 18%. Why the huge jump to 20%? Why the huge jump to 20%? Because for Democrats, that is a huge jump. All right, let's check in on New Mexico. A something story, not hearing much about this. Obviously, it's on this late night show or primetime show, whatever it is, ABC.
Images, there's been a deadly hazmat emergency in New Mexico. 3 people have been found dead. More than a dozen first responders who raced to the scene now overcome and rushed to the hospital. So let's get right to ABC's Trevor Ault, who's following this for us. Trevor, what do we know?
Well, David, very alarming situation here unfolding east of Albuquerque. Emergency crews arrived at a home there and found 4 people unresponsive. 3 of them are now dead. Then the first responders started falling ill. About 24 people exposed to an unknown substance, many of them experiencing dizziness and nausea. They were all taken to the hospital for decontamination, and now 3 of them have been admitted. Right now, there are hazmat teams there at the house as authorities are racing to try to figure out what this unknown substance even is. David.
Trevor Ault tonight. Trevor, thank you. There are images. There's been a deadly hazmat emergency in New Mexico. 3 people.
Let me check on Grok. Hazmat, New Mexico. See if we have any updates on this. 3 people deceased, 22 hospitalized, including first responders after hazmat in Mountain Air, New Mexico. Cause still being investigated. Suspecting narcotics involved. All right. Not seeing much more. They entered for an overdose. An unknown substance collapsed them all. They never stood a chance. The substance transmits on contact. It's still unidentified. Mystery substance, case 3. All right, stay tuned. Now, President Trump put this out on May 17. Let me look this up. Let's see. Let's go to May 17. A lot of posts on here, it looks like. Racking up all of those wins. Did President Trump post this? How many days ago? We're on the 21st. This would be the 19th. I need 4 days ago. Man, he posts a lot on here. I'm trying to see if I can confirm this post. 3 days ago. All right, President Trump did post this. What do you make of this? President Trump with some Secret Service and a chained gray alien. Posted without comment. All right, that does seem to be legit. They're about to drop us with the biggest alien disinfo campaign the world has ever seen, says Laura Matsui. And then they're going to try and make us believe that these aliens are gods and they can save humanity, which ties perfectly into transhumanism. Great. Here it is. AI, transhumanism, UFO disclosure, the battle over human consciousness, the possible rise of an alien religion, galactic federations, DNA activations, and the new age astral circus. Channeled ET messages, hyper-dimensional disinfo, false light, spiritual glamour, and the lure of special cosmic knowledge, trauma, entities, shadow, demons, and the false binary in spiritual warfare. Oh, super. Be prepared. Yes, Dina, those were for the primaries, all those Trump posts. But he's got a ton of other Trump posts that aren't exactly that one either. Yeah, a gas attack of some sort in New Mexico, Ortho. All right. Western Defenders put this out.
県廿日市市宮島町の霊華堂で火事が発生しました。消防が現在も消火活動に当たっています。広島県廿日市市宮島町の霊華堂
Probably can't understand this, but Western Defenders said, odd, isn't it? As soon as Japan imports Muslims, their Buddhist temples start getgetting burned to the ground, just like churches.
で火事が発生しました。
Western Defenders says Japan spent centuries protecting its culture, its religion, its identity. In 1980, there were 4 mosques in the entire country. By 2026, there are over 150. Muslim population has grown from 100,000 in the early 2000s to an estimated 400,000 today. Largely driven by government decisions to import foreign labor to fix a declining birth rate. 95% of Japanese voters opposed Muslim migration, according to policy that hasn't stopped, according to polling, and that hasn't stopped the policy. Now, Japanese communities are holding protests outside train stations. Local governments are facing intense pressure over mosque construction plans. Thousands of complaints flooded in when halal food was proposed for schools. Japanese people are watching their neighborhoods change in real time and asking questions their government refuses to answer. Europe ignored these questions 30 years ago. It called out anyone who raised those questions as a bigot. It outsourced its birth rate problem to mass immigration and told its people to be grateful. Japan is now at the same crossroads that Europe stood at a generation ago. The question is whether they will learn from what happened to us, says Western Defenders, or repeat it. Okay. All right. For the I hate the cops and all cops are bastards people, take a look at this. Florida deputy gets ambushed and stabbed right after stepping out of a patrol.
Hey, partner. Hey, buddy. Hey, motherfucker!
he went down fast.
67, 62, man. He's signal 50.
And he stabbed him, it appeared to be multiple times in the chest before running into the woods.
55.
The officer says, my vest got it.
Hispanic, male, green shirt. He's running through the woods right now. I believe he's got a knife. Come here now!
26, HLV 1033 for...
This Medina Marquez had attacked law enforcement before, now facing charges including attempted murder of a law enforcement officer and is being held without bond. They're searching.
Get on the ground!
And they're...
We got him detained. I should have killed you, bitch. You know that, right?
I should have killed you, B.
Killed you. Okay. You're lucky I didn't. You know that, right? You should thank God for that. I would have killed you in your neck. I would have stabbed you in your neck. You're lucky I didn't. Thank God for that shit.
Uh-huh. So if you wonder why you meet cops that are in a bad mood, you know, you just get attacked and stabbed when you get out of your car. Glad he survived that crazy guy. Hodge Twins put this out and says a $1,200 ticket nightmare. Flock safety camera falsely accuses a woman of phone use, even though both hands were on the wheel. Phone was face down on her lap. Automated ticket was received in the mail. Big tech plus automated fines equal a recipe for abuse. Spencer Pratt has thoughts on Gavin and Jennifer Newsom diverting millions of dollars into their own nonprofit.
Well, all last summer I warned you, Gavin Newsom and his wife were on the take. We blew the whistle on how the first partner, Jennifer Newsom, was getting fire aid money diverted into her dubious nonprofit, taking from donations that people were told was meant for fire victims. When we broke that story, what did they do? Well, they just deleted her NPO from the list of donor recipients on the Fire Aid website and lied about it ever happening. Well, now we are finding out that Gavin's wife has personally netted over $4 million through this nebulous organization, Cal Volunteers, a weird NPO that Gavin simply made up for her within the office of the first partner. But nobody can fully explain what they actually do. Well, now, it's a pretty California thing for rich dudes to make up fake businesses that burn money so their wives can stay busy and keep distracted from their affairs. But normally, it's like a boutique fashion store that the husband doesn't mind losing $20K a month. It's a write-off. But using taxpayer money on shady government initiatives and actually profiting to the tune of $4 million, man, Gavin is an innovator. I swear this state is being run by the mob. Everyone in government is milking taxpayers through these shady NGOs, and nowhere is it more pervasive than Karen Basura's LA, where the homeless organization's raking cash, but the problem continues to fester. Ever wonder why we pour billions of our taxpayer dollars into homelessness, and yet you only see more filth and drug addicts on the streets? Because it's all a scam. They're stealing your money. When I'm mayor, this mafia racket stops. We need to excise this corruption like a cancer before it kills our city. They treat us like their personal piggy bank so they can get rich while our city just rots. We have the 5th wealthiest city in the galaxy. We should look like Dubai or Monaco. You should be able to eat off the damn streets. They should be so clean. We are being weighed down by corrupt politicians. Go to mayorpratt.com and donate. Support my campaign for mayor if you're sick and tired of these lunatics robbing us blind. Well, all...
Who's the John Willis? I don't know who this guy is. But is there anything you don't think Gavin Newsom and the Democrats would steal from? I don't. Let's get Tucker's take on Thomas Massey.
Thinking last night when Massey lost in Kentucky, I was thinking back to Trump's inauguration, the morning of the Trump inauguration, which amazingly was only last January 20th. And I was in Washington for that. And Trump invited me to church on the morning before he was sworn in. And so, of course, I went. And it was at St. John's, the Episcopal Church in Lafayette Square, where pretty much every president has gone on the morning of the inauguration. So I showed up. Happens to be my denomination, the Episcopal Church. So I know the church pretty well. I know people who work there. So I was pretty excited about going and saying a prayer for this presidency. So I'm standing outside at maybe 6:45 in the morning, and it is freezing. And if you've been to Washington in the winter, you know it's mostly pretty temperate, but the cold days are very cold. And there's something about the cold in a city that is biting. Even if you like cold, it's tough. And this was probably 12 degrees and windy. And I remember that very well because we were standing in line, in a security line, waiting to go through the magnetometer. And the Secret Service was there. It was a whole rigmarole and dogs. And they were taking forever. It's not their fault, but the protocols are complex. And it was awful standing there. We were kind of stamping our feet and grousing. Not many people. It was a pretty small church service, but the people were standing in line were like, let's get going and get into church. And as we're standing there feeling freezing, waiting to be searched by federal law enforcement, a woman brushed by me on the left side, kind of walking fast. Older woman, not very tall, and I recognized her. And it was Miriam Adelson. And she blew past me and everybody else in line and went right to the front, right to the magnetometer, announced who she was, and walked on in. And I thought to myself, Miriam Adelson, who I know vaguely, not really, but I knew that she was the biggest or one of the biggest donors to the Trump campaign, an Israeli, born in Israel, widow of Sheldon Adelson, the biggest Republican donor, the casino magnate, but more than anything, a fervent neocon. Her main issue is American support for Israel. She says this, it's not a secret, and she spends accordingly. And she brushes past me, I remember thinking this, and everybody else, and just walks right in like she owns the place. And I remember thinking, I hope this isn't an omen. I hope it's not a sign of things to come. It feels a little bit like a metaphor. I hope that's not real. So I kind of sublimated it, tried not to think about it, finally got into church, sat alone in a pew with Charlie Kirk, had a great time. We were both almost jubilant, really, that Trump had been elected. We didn't think he would, but he did. And we were thrilled, not just because we like Trump, which we did, because he's hilarious and fun to talk to and interesting, but because he ran on ideas that we agreed with really strongly. I was thinking last night when Massey lost in Kentucky, I was thinking back to Trump's inauguration, the morning.
Well, who is funding things is the big question we keep hearing. Here's a good reply anytime people are going to disagree with you online. Oh, really? Well, we'll see what the same four people who always agree with me think about that. We'll see. We'll see what the same four people who always agree with me think about that. Pretty great. Gotta mix it up a bit. Brandon Tatum shares this video that's going around. Texas father catches a registered S offender trying to lure his daughter toward a vehicle. He roughs up the suspect and holds him at gunpoint until deputies arrive.
How old are you? How fucking old are you? You got something to fucking say to a 6-year-old? Huh? You got something to say to a fucking 6-year-old bitch?
Scotty.
A 6-year-old?
Your fucking story's over. Let me fucking tell you something.
Scotty.
Tell you something, bitch. Let me fucking tell you something. Yeah.
We told you multiple times to leave them girls alone.
In this motherfucking neighborhood. You're fucking sorry, ain't motherfucking shit.
I ain't doing it anymore.
No, you ain't gonna fucking live here no more. Get your motherfucking ass.
Okay.
I'm gonna fucking kill you, motherfucker.
I'm getting out
You
of
understand me?
Yeah.
You got anything to say to a 6-year-old child?
No, sir.
Huh?
No.
3 of them?
No.
My daughter can't play in her fucking front yard because you want to set your perverted ass. I know about you, motherfucker. You're a goddamn fuck Barbie. Fuck you. I'm telling you right fucking now. You have no reason to speak to any fucking child. Any motherfucking child. You're lucky I'm slapping you or I break your fucking jaw. You understand me? How old are you? Understand me?
Yes, sir.
You fucking understand me, motherfucker? I'm telling you right now, I know you're a registered fucking sex offender. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. You're goddamn right you are. So what did you have to fucking say to my 6-year-old daughter?
No one.
You don't need to say hi to her, do you?
No, sir.
I catch you one more fucking time talking to a kid, it'll be the last day you're fucking breathing. You understand me, motherfucker?
Yes, sir.
You're getting off easy. Not one of them was a punch.
Yes, sir.
I could kill you right fucking now. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Don't ever speak to another one of my fucking kids.
Yeah. This is why you don't release these creeps. The recidivism rate is through the roof. If it's not 100%, it's dangerously, scarily close to it.
It'll be the last day you're breathing.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, sir, ain't shit. You fucking do it or you're dead. You understand me, motherfucker? Do you fucking understand me?
Yes, sir.
Understand me?
I mean, you don't let kid abusers out. For these obvious reasons. Go, Dad, go. Find me anybody that's going to have a problem with that. Got to defend your kids.
Oh,
you got to defend your food.
It's simple. We're slowly getting rid of all seeds and fruits and vegetables. And
growing a garden is very important.
Honestly, it's brilliant. Because once every apple, grape, watermelon, and tomato is seedless, guess who controls life itself? Us. No more planting your own food, no more saving seeds for next season. Everything you eat, everything that grows will come from our labs.
Mm-hmm. This is why you got to collect and save your seeds and grow stuff year after
And
year.
when the last natural seed is gone, that's when it gets fun. We can make them rare, expensive, maybe even licensed. Only billionaires will have gardens and everyone else will have to subscribe to eat. Sounds insane, right? But it's already happening. Seedless isn't convenience, it's containment.
Seedless isn't convenient, it's containment.
Every time you pick up a seedless fruit, you're holding a future that can't reproduce. So yeah, expect more seedless everything, because the easiest way to control the world is to stop it from growing. So, remember to stay safe out there.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Oh, it's
just a theory, not a fact. There you go. Daily Callers asks a question. Non-citizens, should they be allowed to vote in local elections? Spencer Pratt, no. Bass, it depends. Cynthia Rahman, it does depend. No, it doesn't. Senator Jim Banks, only American citizens should be voting in American elections. It is that simple. Yes, it is. Okay, this can't be true. Let me ask. Oh, I can't copy paste. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to pull this up for a second. I'll be right back in just a moment. As soon as I can click this button. Hang on 1 second. Get this going. We'll pick it up from right here, and I'll be right back. Okay. Hang on. There we go. Okay. That was that. Had an incoming call had to attend to. I got to look this up. Is the Bataclan attacker going to be released? Mario Knopfel reporting it. Here, let me share this so you can see it. I interviewed Jesse Hughes. from Eagles of Death Metal, the band that was on stage when these attacks happened. Mohammed Bakhali, the logistical brain behind the horrific Paris and Bataclan attacks in 2015, is being allowed penitentiary leave by a Brussels court and may soon be set free. Oh no, 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 no. The Bataclan attacks were some of the most horrific I've ever heard, and now their mastermind could actually be walking the streets with you and me. Are you effing kidding me? Are you kidding? Well, tune out for the next couple of seconds here if you don't want to have nightmares, but if you want to know the extent to which the horror was perpetrated by this guy. Not only did 130 people die that day, the details are nightmare-inducing. Oh, boy. Here we go. You've been warned. They cut off testicles and shoved them into the victims' mouths. They carved up pregnant women and then ard them. They beheaded people. They gouged people's eyes out. This didn't take place in some war-torn region of the world or 500 years ago. It happened 11 years ago in Paris, France. I don't care if he is the best behaving prisoner you've ever seen. Under no circumstances should this animal ever be set free. This is ridiculous. My God. Marion says, I never thought about that with the seeds. And you do love seedless watermelon, so you are a part of the problem. Dina says non-GMOs are sweeter. And Trash Panda has a suggestion for what should be done to the Bataclan attackers. Anyone disagree with that? You know what? Let me play it. Let me play you this. Let's see if I can find it. Yes, I did. Let's watch this. This isn't some far off story. This isn't something that didn't really happen. This is a big deal. This Bataclan attack. This is me interviewing Jesse Hughes, Eagles of Death Metal singer. Where's the volume?
All right, everybody, Brian Engelman here at 2017 NAMM Convention, Anaheim, California. We're here with Jesse Hughes with Eagles of Death Metal. Jesse, thanks for taking a moment to say hello.
Thank you so much.
Hey, so tell us why you've been with Orange for so many years. What is it about their product that fits the style that you play?
Well, first, before I had a style, I had people that I wanted to be like. And my first impressions of music were with the Music Laden videos out of Germany with the standard stock orange backline. Black Sabbath did Iron Man with it. You know, you'll see Deep Purple. But when I really started to get into music and have heroes in songwriting and try to figure out what about the landscape of sound, Stevie Wonder is one of my biggest heroes, and he plays orange. And the first time I saw Stevie Wonder playing orange on stage, that really struck me, because I know that he's the only artist and musician who can actually see the music, and that's the way God designed him. He's special that way. And if he plays orange, it must be the color of sound. I mean, I know that sounds corny, but you don't really know what you're going to make your trajectory unless you see someone else doing it before you. Right. That's why the ones who go before lead the way. And it just seemed like Stevie Wonder to me was holding up a big light. And then I have a couple of pictures of Jimmy Page playing through orange. To me, it's just a nexus of sound. Secondly, I don't use pedals. I use
no pedals.
I use Maiden guitars, and Maiden guitars are engineered in such a way that it leads you to a tone and sound that's automatically wired in. So I need an amp that I can literally plug in and play. And no matter where I have ever played in the world, and I've done this a few times now around the world, Orange has never, ever, ever, and I mean this sincerely, ever left me in any situation where I was at a deficiency of my quality of sound. It is the most consistent performing badass amp I've ever fucking played through. And when I plug it in with my Maiden, I don't need a fucking pedal. I just have one tone. It's badass, you know?
We need to get like t-shirts or something that just say, my tone is badass. But you were talking about playing all over the world, and I got to ask you, I know you've probably been through this 100 times over the past year and a half. The night of the Bataclan shooting. If you can walk me just through, this is a while later now. You lived through just a crazy experience. Can you just tell me what your takeaway is this much time later? You guys walked through the other side of something tragic. I'm so sorry that happened, but I just want to get your thoughts on it if you've had a little bit of time to reflect.
Well, of course I've had time to reflect. Bad people do bad shit, but you can't kill rock and roll. And the good guys never sleep, so neither am I. And, I mean, pardon me, the bad guys never sleep, so I'm not either gonna... I've seen nothing but the most beautiful examples of humanity. My faith in humanity has actually been restored.
Has it really?
By this, absolutely.
So you've seen the lowest of the lows, and you've seen the phoenix rising from the ashes, man.
I'm not a why me kind of guy. Why not me? And why not me? What makes me any different than anyone else? Nobody deserves or doesn't deserve any bad shit to happen. It happens. It's what you do afterwards that matters. Every step you're able to take walking through the valley of the shadow of death is a gift, and a special one, and that's, you get judged by the last thing you do. You don't get judged by the first thing you do. A man leaves the world, a woman leaves the world being what they are right when they die, not what they were when they were 20. So I want to be something that's able to look my mother in the eye, and I want to be...
And that part right there says, in February 2016, Eagles of Death Metal returned to the Bataclan to finish their show in front of a packed house. That's how you do it.
Not what they were when they were 20. So I want to be something that's able to look my mother in the eye, and I want to be something that's able to take my word to my grave, and I want to be something that people are able to trust. And I am that. And only because I play rock and roll, and I have the greatest family of rock and rollers that love my music, was I able to get through it and sustain myself. I believe in rock and roll didn't let me down. And companies like Orange.
I believe rock and roll didn't let me down. Bad people do bad shit, but rock and roll will never die.
Were there for me. I mean, as a person, the company from the top down, from the owner down, is quality.
I could imagine the phone calls you had to have gotten in that next month.
Yeah, but the lesson, everyone called me, but the lessons I learned are that don't give up hope on rock and roll. People are amazing. The companies like Orange, Maiden are filled with stellar people who do good, honest business, and full that I got to live a life where I got to be a part of that.
Like you were saying, that rock and roll wins out. And to me, I heard that saying that's the biggest middle finger possible to anybody that doesn't like our way of life. They can suck it.
Success is the best vengeance.
Of course, absolutely. Well, hey, real quick, give us the last place you want people to check out online to find out what you're up to next.
www.hustler.com. Just kidding.
That's my site.
www. I think it's the Eagles of Death. Just check the Google machine.
Do the Googling and this stuff. No, but I think you're dead on to that.
Hey, Mom.
It is living right, and success is the best middle. How did you phrase it? I don't want to screw it up again.
I don't remember.
It's the best middle finger possible to some idiot.
Success is the best vengeance.
There we go. Success is the best vengeance. Edited by my brother Chris. He did a good job piecing this together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Look back in time, Brian. I got 15 years, 2,200 videos. That was good. Bad people do bad shit, but rock and roll will never die. So that story is horrifying. How anybody could let that person out ever again. And that's sort of why, there's a push to use the death sentence, the death penalty. You should never allow someone like that to get back out on the streets. Those attacks were horrifying. And I appreciate Jesse for taking a few minutes to talk with me about his experience. All right, let's pull up. We got 2 more stories here on Instagram. Hit the like button, hit share, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend. Remember, we have Rumble rant tips and Super Chat tips. If you want to throw some silver coins into the tip jar behind me, in front of you, you can do so. Or Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all scrolling at the bottom of the screen. All right. Don't you dare let that guy out. Dr. Stephen Greer has some concern about this disclosure lie.
What is the most dangerous information?
Hey, is that Jake Paul? Is that who that is? Who's talking to who here? Logan Paul? I don't know the difference. Should I know the difference?
That you know.
Oh boy. They're going
The most dangerous information you know. They're going to
hoax an alien threat, and it's all a lie. So we are actually in the last year at the point where they've started on that plan. We have got to intercept this plan and
stop it. Think of 9/11, the Iraq War was a cluster F. Well, this is going to be that 1,000 times worse. There's going to be a group of people who control this issue.
that are trying to provoke an interplanetary incident.
An interplanetary incident. So the next World War III will be interplanetary. It's a serious group of nut jobs, and they have to be put on a leash and stood down fast, quickly. They started releasing this stuff on CNN and Washington Post, New York Times. Every bit of information they're putting out has to spend a threat, national sovereignty, invasion, some sort of brainwashing that's already been started. Try to convince the public that there is an alien threat. Dr. Stephen Greer says it's all a lie. So act accordingly. All right, let's switch over to our X account. Yes, Jake's brother. Jake from State Farm? Jake the Snake? No. All right, our Patreon link is right here at the top of our X account at American_media_. Please consider jumping on to Patreon and signing up for like $5 or $10 a month. It means a lot to me and to the lights that I pay to turn on every day and the equipment that I burn out and need to replace from time to time. All right. Told you about that story with the Bataclan attacker. I told you this story about the 911 call with Thomas, with the crook's dad. Judicial Watch helping unearth Matthew Crook's 911 call. All right, what do we got here? Eric Daughtry. It's been confirmed, according to Eric Daughtry, that the RNC has $124 million cash on hand, compared to the Democrats' $14 million. Yeah, that's like 12 to 1. Democrats are also $17.5 million in debt. So it means they're negative $3 million, you could just say. Eric Daughtry says Democrats are going to cheat and have a large amount of dark money for the midterms. We need to cancel out their ballot harvesting machine and make sure that election attorneys are ready to stop the shenanigans. Listen to President Trump pass the Save America Act, secure our elections, and win. DC Drano says now that Act Blue is being investigated for straw donor fraud and foreign money laundering, Democrats suddenly don't have a lot of cash on hand. Funny how that works. Libs of TikTok says the House just passed legislation which would pull funding from schools who hide kids gender transitioning from parents. Nearly every Democrat voted against it. The Democrat Party officially endorses transing kids behind their parents' backs. Unelectable. We played you a clip of this yesterday, but it bears repeating now. Joe Rogan and Tim Burchett discussing ticks.
ticks. Watch that thing.
The tick thing is nuts.
Yeah,
especially
because of meat, because of Gates.
Well, there's
Bill
boxes
Gates, not
people
Matt.
are finding. I don't know if this is true because I've seen many reports on it, but I'm just going to say what I saw. That farmers and ranchers are finding boxes of ticks on their property. Now, I don't know if that's fake. I don't know if someone's setting that up to pretend they found these boxes of ticks, but there's videos of these people finding boxes of ticks.
Now, what they'll say is they'll probably say they're sterile ticks and that we're planting them out there so we can diminish the population, is what they'll say. But anytime they try to mess with the balance of nature, it never goes right.
Is that what they're saying? This is
No, but just get ready. That's what you think? Getting it right here.
I don't believe you have a right to go to someone's property and drop off sterile ticks.
No way in hell.
That's crazy either way. But I have a good friend of mine who got bit by the Lone Star tick and has that alpha gal problem.
Yeah, a guy came out of my house yesterday looking at putting gutters up at our house. And that guy, he said, and I said, you did what? He goes, yeah, I can't eat anything, any meat produced by a mammal.
Yes.
I was like,
yeah. So my buddy, he had it, and my friend Evan, so he had it for a little while, and then he did a bunch of treatments and got off of it and then started eating steak again. And he was fine for about a year and a half, and then it came back stronger than ever. And he just can't shake it.
It's been around that long.
Oh, yeah. He can only eat eggs. I mean, he's basically eating eggs and vegetables. That's all he's eating. And every time he tries to deviate, he has a horrible reaction. It makes, for people that don't know, it makes your body allergic to red meat.
Right. And who has got genetically made meat now?
Yeah, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Seems like we are being poisoned, does it not? Nicholas Hulsher says Bill Gates already spent more than $7.6 million creating genetically modified ticks designed to spread in the wild. 2023, the Gates Foundation awarded Flitter the cash to initiate development of a self-limiting tick designed to spread and control cattle ticks. Oh boy. Nick Sorter reports breaking. Let's take a listen to the Fox report.
Breaking news, a Minnesota judge has just sentenced the mastermind behind the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme, Amy Bach. She just got more than 41 years in prison. The prosecution is asking for a 50-year sentence and her defense about 3 years. So that's somewhere in the middle that they got that, but closer to what obviously the prosecution wanted. The scheme involved theft of nearly $250 million in COVID funding.
Later.
That money was meant to feed hungry children. State leaders claim they were unaware of the fraud. Here's what Amy Bach told our Alexis McAdams from jail back in January.
I honestly believe Keith Ellison and Governor Walz need to be held accountable. There needs to be an investigation done. If they weren't aware, that's concerning.
Breaking news.
All right. $250 million stolen. Ashton Forbes says, yes, Amy Bach explicitly stated in a recent jailhouse interview that she believes Representative Ilhan Omar was aware of the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. He says, according to the New York Post. In the May 16, 2026 New York Post interview conducted by video from jail, Bach said of Omar, I struggle to believe that she wouldn't have known. Yeah, Nick Sorter says Bach should spill everything about Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar. Iran continues to target commercial vessels that don't pay their toll. An Iranian attack drone strikes an oil tanker that was attempting to pass the Strait of Hormuz without paying a fee. This coming from U.S. Homeland Security News account. Iran is negotiating a permanent toll system for the Strait of Hormuz with Oman. Not a threat, an actual formalized fee structure for commercial ships, including oil and gas tankers, passing through the strait. 1/3 of the world's maritime oil trade moves through that choke point. If this goes through, Iran doesn't need to block the strait to weaponize it. They just charge for the privilege of using it, and the world pays or reroutes. That's a completely different kind of leverage. Source Bloomberg, reported by Mario Knopfel. Marco Rubio asked about this. He is pretty crystal clear that this is a no-go.
Iran talking about trying to formalize
Well, we've always said a tolling system in the Straits would be unacceptable, but we don't just say that. The world has said that. We have a resolution right now in the United Nations. We're trying to take it to the Security Council. It's sponsored by Bahrain. It has over 100-something. The highest number of co-sponsors in the history of the Security Council have signed on to our resolution. We were in China last week. We mentioned this about the tolling. They're against it. No one in the world is in favor of a tolling system. It can't happen. It would be unacceptable. It would make a diplomatic deal unfeasible if they were to continue to pursue that. So it's a threat to the world if they were to try to do that. And it's completely illegal, by the way. Go ahead.
All right, so it's a non-starter. Red Line Report put this out. Here's a new Newsmax segment. Ilhan Omar, she never renounced her old citizenship? Shouldn't that be a requisite?
A lot of these people hide it. I think one of the things that's extraordinary is we don't even know who the dual citizens are. So we know, for example, in the case of Ilhan Omar, she was born a citizen of Somalia. Unless she chose to give it up, she's still a citizen of Somalia. And certainly the way that she acts and all of the people she helped defraud this country in Minnesota in order to help Somalia would suggest it. Many of her public remarks say she's Somalia first. We don't know. But this would say, again, someone like Ilhan Omar, assuming she's still a citizen of Somalia, would have to give it up. You're either American or Somalian. Look, we don't want foreigners serving in Congress. I don't want French citizens serving in Congress. I don't want Armenian citizens serving in Congress. I don't want Israeli citizens serving in Congress. The only people who should be serving in Congress are American citizens. A lot of these people hide it. I think one of the things that's extraordinary is we don't even know who the dual citizens are. So,
yeah, pretty sure we shouldn't be allowing this stuff. You want the people who represent you to be members of your team. C3 says so. The SPLC accused Elon of doing a Nazi salute and condemned him while the SPLC was funding the KKK. Really? Really? You really can't make this up. Yep. Reminder, the SPLC put both of these men on their hate watch list. Ben Carson and Charlie Kirk. The SPLC trained the Biden DOJ. Sickening. The SPLC built a hate labeling machine and the Biden era legitimized it. We got to understand this.
I don't understand how it went on as long as it did, but at least Congress is trying to get to the bottom of it.
Well, Carl, you know why this happened. I mean, the Biden administration was complicit. The fact that you have Jim Jordan telling Americans today that the Biden administration actually shielded the SPLC when we knew that there was massive fraud, that Americans and groups were being targeted, and this money was being funneled to white supremacists and neo-Nazis is everything you need to know that Biden was complicit, his DOJ and everybody else that continued to target Americans, and they manufactured hate and they used donor money. The DOJ should be all over this in their lawsuit and make sure that we get accountability, our money back, and those individuals are jailed indefinitely. This is despicable.
Oh, no, 100%. But Christina, the Democrats are like somehow appalled by this. The DOJ indicted the senator because, of course, they think like, well, you know, Republicans are just racist and that's why they're looking into it. World this.
SPLC's been an enemy of the Klan and neo-Nazi groups for more than a half century. It's been unswerving and steadfast, which is why their offices were bombed and why they get an unending stream of violent death threats, something which makes this prosecution and persecution all the more appalling.
But, Christina, we know they were doing this, so there haven't been a steadfast thing against racism.
No, you can tell how scared Democrats are by actions that Republicans take, by how aggressive they respond to it. And this cuts to the jugular of the Democrat political operation. Because yes, they're manufacturing hate. Yes, they're fundraising off of the crisis that they created in order to solve it. But it's also their political policies that they're creating. It's the platform that Democrats run on. And Southern Poverty Law Center is one nonprofit, but there are several that probably fall into a similar category. So I think they're nervous because they run a lot of their fear-mongering through these nonprofits, and if it gets shut down, not just with Southern Poverty Law Center, but the others that they also run them through, their political structure is in jeopardy.
Yeah, but heck, of course the Democrats, I can't even go like another second without dragging Trump into it. I give you the brain trust of the left, Jayapal. Watch.
You want to argue that Trump's DOJ is trying to stop hate? Give me a break. Trump ran his campaigns and these administrations on stoking fear and racism against communities of color and promoting hate.
I'm sorry, does she have any examples of how Trump has promoted hate?
She really doesn't, but the receipts don't lie here, Carl. You look at the SPLC before the Unite the Right rally, they had 55 million. They tripled it after that rally. And we're going to continue to see, because again, bank records don't lie, the donors and the donations don't lie. All Democrats can continue to say is racism, but they're the party that continue to divide Americans today, that want graduations just for Black Americans, that want DE&I in schools, that continue to hide what's really happening. And I'm tired. We're not racist. We're embracing everybody in America. We just don't want fraud on our watch, and we don't want to be labeled as racist. But that's what Democrats is. It's their whole MO, to continue to lie and deflect.
Yep. But the American people seem to be done with them. House hearing is examining SPLC over allegations it funneled millions in donor funds to the extremist groups it publicly labels as hate organizations. This is going to be a massive story.
A House hearing will be taking a hard look at the Southern Poverty Law Center as it's accused of using donor funds to funnel millions to extremist groups. It claims to be fighting. But what is the SPLC? Well, it was first launched in the early 70s to legally help the poor and disenfranchised. The organization allegedly monitors white supremacist organizations and other groups it deems hateful, tracking them through so-called intelligence project. But the DOJ claims that the SPLC has actually been funding groups like the KKK. Meanwhile, some of the organizations labeled as hate groups, including the conservative group and Christian groups like Mom for Liberty and the Alliance for Defending Freedom. And the recent data, though, is showing that the Southern Poverty Law Center has received more than $730 million in endowments. All right, so let's break it all down. Fox News contributor and George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley joins us now. So, Professor, I guess the big question, what laws did they potentially break by funding these groups, even if they say they were doing it for the purpose to investigate them?
Well, Lawrence, they are looking at
harass him in front of his wife and family. January 23rd, 2023, the now famous memorandum from the Richmond FBI field office. We know how it paid off, because in that memorandum they cite the Southern Poverty
Oh, I was on mute there. Apologies. I was setting this clip up.
Law Center as the source. And of course, that memo says if you're a pro-life Catholic, well, you're an extremist. You're dangerous. Yeah, the SPLC became part of the weaponized effort of the Garland, Biden, Justice Department against the American people. Now, here's what's interesting. The Biden DOJ knew all about it. They had opened an investigation. They were looking into this group. They knew the Southern Poverty Law Center was running a scam, but they dropped the case. They dropped the case because when you meet with them, consult with them, have them train your prosecutors, well, guess what? You're not going to prosecute them. Nope, you're not going to prosecute them. They're too valuable politically. You got to use them for your political advantage, and that's exactly what the Biden administration did. And here's the scariest part of all. It worked. Field Source 37. Again, he was the first one I mentioned. He was part of the planning group for the Charlottesville rally. He was paid to coordinate transportation. He was paid to attend. After the event, again, after the event where a young lady is killed, the Southern Poverty Law Center almost tripled their income. It all worked. They went from 51 million annual income to $133 million. Turned out for them, creating hate was more profitable than fighting it.
Yep, we've long said the desire for evil, vitriolic racism far exceeds the actual amount. And they know that. And yeah, Jim Jordan, great at talking, but how many indictments?
That's exactly what they did. They ran a scam, they became the standard, they didn't get prosecuted, and they made a ton of money. Made a ton of money. They're sitting on $800 million in assets, $700 million endowment fund. Such a deal. Such a deal. But here's the good news, because there is some good news. Here's the good news. President Trump got elected. Todd Blanche is Attorney General. Kash Patel is FBI Director. And guess what? They're prosecuting these guys.
All right. Hey, Stephen Colbert is unemployed. His last show is, what, tonight? And they're going to replace him with Byron Allen, Comics Unleashed.
But you just mentioned that you've written jokes for David Letterman, and you know the public criticism from Letterman, from Kimmel, from others about CBS canceling Colbert. How does that sit with you as the person who's taking on this time slot?
I think it was a very unfortunate event. I love Stephen Colbert. I'm a big fan. Once they made the decision, I said, okay, this isn't show business, this is business show. You know, they said, you know, they're losing lots of money. I said, here's a solution not to lose lots of money. And I think we can hold on to his audience and hopefully build on it, because it is business show, not show business. I absolutely love Colbert, and I would do anything. He doesn't need me. I would do anything to support him.
And quickly before we run out of time, you're going to have the show is comedians discussing funny things that happen.
That's right.
And are you going to talk politics, or is it all about comedy?
No politics. That's it. You come, you laugh. You know, we're celebrating I created the show 20 years ago. And we're about to have our 20th anniversary this fall. You know, the 20th anniversary of Comics Unleashed, 20 years of laughter. We've had on 1,000 comedians, every shape, size, you name it.
You say this is how you want to bring people together.
And I want to bring people together using comedy.
All right, well,
comedy
it's going to happen.
Heal it all.
It's going to happen on Friday. Byron Allen, thank you so much.
Colbert is gone. Once again, reports that are circulating. If San Diego police are refusing to name yesterday's mosque shooters because they're trans, that is not confirmed. Just a reminder of that. That claim would not be confirmed. The claim is circulating on social media, but it's unsupported by law enforcement or major news reporting. Now, unsupported doesn't mean debunked, because we are having a conversation about this right now. And my conversation about this topic is like, well, that's not true. I go, how do you know that's not true? Well, that hasn't been confirmed anywhere. That doesn't mean it's not true. There's that quote I have, my lack of evidence doesn't make me wrong. That would be unconfirmed. Now, if it's been disproven as a lie, factually incorrect, that would be a different category. But Grok did not disprove it and say, no, these two madmen or whoever perpetrated that act, they were absolutely not trans. No, we're not hearing that. We're hearing that it's unconfirmed. Amuse, Nick Sorter, others are reporting that it's true. That doesn't make it true, But Grok saying that it's unconfirmed doesn't make it false. There's a growing rise. Well, growing rise. There's a growing trend. There's a rise in violence from the trans community. The community. What community am I in? What community are you in? Regardless, we're following the story, but they are unsupported claims, but they're not debunked. Grok didn't fully debunk the claims either, so we'll see. Tom asked us, can you be an elected official in other countries if you're not born there? Because Nancy May says, Ilhan Omar, Sri Thanadar, Prabhamina Japal, all born in foreign countries, none were citizens by birth, all sitting in the U.S. Congress, all making very clear every single day their loyalty is not to America. We just introduced a long overdue joint resolution proposing a constitutional amendment to require members of Congress, federal judges, and Senate-confirmed officers to be natural-born citizens. This is the very same standard the president and the vice president are already required to meet. The people writing America's laws, confirming America's judges, and representing America on the world stage should have one loyalty. That's America, not any other country. For too long, we have allowed foreign-born members to hold seats in this government while making clear they are America last, not America first. We see it every day. The constitutional amendment will put an end to it. Wall Street Apes put this out and claims the Los Angeles mayor race is going to be rigged. LA resident receives all these mail-in ballots to his home and none of them are addressed to him. I don't know how much credibility we put on this random video. I don't know how verified this is, but this is a report that's circulating. Let's take a listen.
Well, a whole lot of ballots in the mail. This many people do not live at this address. A lot of ballots. Ballots for LA mayor. Yes, yes, yes. And every single one of these is going to be filled out by one person and voting for Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt for mayor of LA. Every single one of these ballots and every single one of these ballots that just came in, we're going to vote for Spencer Pratt by mail. We're doing dozens of them, dozens of them, dozens of them. Mail, a whole lot.
So is this guy admitting that he's going to be committing voter fraud that can be tracked to his address? Is that what he's doing? Yes, Dina, Manchurian candidates, all of them. At least potentially. DHS confirms to Fox News that the semi-truck driver who was arrested for K-ing two people in a hit-and-run crash near Sacramento yesterday is an Indian illegal alien who was caught and released at the Arizona border by the Biden admin in 2023. His name is Manveer Singh. He is now facing charges in San Joaquin County for vehicular manslaughter with gross negligence in hit and run resulting in death. He allegedly tried to flee the scene on foot after the crash. ICE has placed a detainer on him with local law enforcement. This is the fourth Indian illegal alien truck driver with the last name Singh that we've covered who has been arrested for killing innocent people in crashes around the country going back to last year. No details on his commercial driver's license or CDL yet, or if he even has one. More to come. Great. Reminder, you can toss a Rumble rant or Super Chat tip into the tip jar if you're enjoying your time here, digging through the news together. Nicholas Holscher put this out. Oracle's Larry Ellison. He has thoughts on the surveillance state that's coming. Do you like this or are you creeped out by it?
Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No, no, no. You can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be immediately, that's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times. Citizens.
Guy creeps me out. The White House announced the Stargate project, where Larry Ellison pushed personalized AI mRNA cancer shots developed within 48 hours.
For every design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future. Design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can...
Okay. Creeped out yet? Wall Street Apes shows an American in Florida. Once again, you know, how much stock do we put in these videos? I don't know, a little bit. It's part of a larger mosaic of stories. This person says a plane flew overhead and sprayed something into the air, and now his trees are dying. Take a watch.
After the plane came and sprayed our food forest, things started to die. These cherry trees last year had thousands of cherries on them. And now, after the plane came and sprayed our food forest, things started to die.
Well, that's not good. If true. And Wokeness says first day of warm weather and police had to impose an emergency 8 p.m. curfew in Long Branch, New Jersey. Large crowd of unruly teens. If this video is from that event, here you go. I mean, are you looking at this? This is madness.
Oh, they're on that guy's car.
Really? Put that car. Run and get the toilet. Wait. Move.
Uh-huh. Okay. Matt Van Swell says, what the H? An Atlanta judge lets a man walk out of jail early. This story should boil your blood.
It's on top of me, and he just starts punching my face over and over and over.
The woman, who's an attorney, was headed to work. This police body cam video shows the moments after the attack when Jamari Brown was arrested as the victim was in an ambulance.
My orbital bone was broken in multiple places, and my nose was broken as well. When I got my incident report and I saw that it was a misdemeanor, and I knew that was wrong, you know, if you break a bone in Georgia, it's a felony.
Yet Brown was charged with a misdemeanor after the incident report didn't mention the broken bones. Brown took a negotiated plea deal that the victim says she was never notified about to serve 12 months probation. And that is what Brown was serving when last week investigators say he attacked a postal worker and then Alyssa Page on the Beltline, stabbing her to death.
The right information in the hands of the right people undoubtedly would have changed something.
Channel 2 asked Marta about the report in the January attack. Marta said in part officers responded to the incident and followed established procedures in reporting it. But this victim believes that Brown was charged with a felony in her case. Lives could have been saved.
I would say that there's accountability to be had.
Well, in addition, the victim of the attack here says that her phone number was listed incorrectly in the incident report. We reached out to the Solicitor General's office about what she had to say. We have not heard back, but she says she's also living now with survivor's guilt.
2 months after release, he S's a woman to D on a walking path, goes on to assault a postal worker with a rock before he's caught by police. January, he beat a female attorney. She stepped off a MARTA train to go to work in Atlanta, breaking her nose, then shattered her orbital bone, 25 stitches. MARTA police charged misdemeanor. Didn't even mention the broken bones. Only given 120 days, released early, and only served 60. He was out in March. 2 months later, he beat a postal worker with a rock and stabbed Alyssa Page to D at noon on the Atlanta Beltline. If Brown had served the full 120 days the court gave him, he would have still been in jail the day he K'd her. Alyssa Page would be alive. Stop letting violent offenders out of prison. They call it a school to prison pipeline. Well, you had the prison story. Now this one's the school story. Brandon Tatum says, once again, it's clown season and unemployed season isn't far behind. Gotta mute the music. This is like out of a cartoon. This is like cartoon dancing. Dina says, my cherry tree is not the same this year. Fewer blossoms and don't see the cherries forming yet. Yeah, my fig tree didn't come back this year. Do have some peaches coming in. But yeah, they're doing like the I'm slipping on ice dance. This is graduation. Congrats. Let's get excited. And let's all dance. Because reasons. A new Spencer Pratt ad. They keep getting better.
This mayor race is really heating up. Who you guys voting for? Haven't decided? Same, haven't really been following it. Same. Same? Same. I'm not MAGA or anything. But the city's kind of gone to shit though, right? Oh yeah. Jessica stepped on a needle at the playground the other day. I'm not MAGA or anything though. I'm not MAGA or anything, but have you been downtown lately? Looks.
This is great. I'm not MAGA or anything. I know they got to really try to distance themselves from Republicans for some reason.
It's like an episode of The Walking Dead.
It is. Meth heads are zombies, dude.
Not that I'm MAGA or anything, though. Spencer Pratt seems like he has some good ideas. Not that I'm MAGA or anything. He does seem really angry all the time, though. Well, they did burn his house down. Also, apparently he's staying at the Bel Air Hotel, not the trailer on his property. Well, yeah. They burned his house down.
These AI videos are just as good as something you'd have to organize and shoot. In LA would probably want to tax the hell out of you, so you just don't do it. You know. Well, they did burn his house down, so, you know, he could be angry.
Okay, we're all adults here. How about on 3, we just say who we're voting for? 1, 2, 3. Spencer Pratt. Yeah. Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt.
You are not alone.
Can you imagine if our wives knew?
We're all voting for Spencer Pratt, right? Of course. Obviously. I wish I could vote like yesterday.
I am really pulling for him. I'd love to see LA get fixed. Ronald Carter says nobody's telling you how effed New York City is. Infrastructure is falling apart as everyone's watching flood footage. Cars are underwater, subway stations turned into swimming pools. Nobody's talking about the fact that rain has paralyzed the global city, not a hurricane, not a once-in-a-century storm. 6 inches in a few hours, and the Long Island Expressway shut down in both directions. The F train suspended. Flash flood warnings across every borough. By rain. Cost of fixing this? Well, that's been deferred for decades. Remember, I told you that's what it was like taking over my HOA. They deferred all of the maintenance for decades, and we had everything to do with no money to do it. Perfect, terrible, perfect storm. Cost of not fixing this? Well, the entire city grinds to a halt. That's not a weather problem, that's a maintenance problem. NYC's catch basin clearing fleet was 63% out of service during prior storms. By end of 23, it was 77% out of service. The city had 19 functional trucks for 5 boroughs. 19 for 5. 19 trucks for 8 million people. Here's what nobody's explaining to you. This doesn't just change this storm. This changes all storms forever. New York City has 7,400 miles of combined storm and sewer pipes that back up the moment rainfall exceeds capacity. Many of those pipes are over 100 years old, built before cars existed, let alone SUVs and modern runoff volumes. Fewer than half of the city's 964 priority catch basins were inspected before recent storms hit. To clean them out if they need cleaned. The exact same thing happened in 2023 and 2025. Same expressway, same subway lines, same excuses. The city knows which drains are clogged. They have a data-driven priority list. They just don't have the trucks to clean them. So every time it rains hard, the same streets flood, the same trains stop, and so the headlines repeat again. And then nothing changes until the next storm proves it again. My source tweet said it directly. 6 inches of rain shouldn't do this to a major city, but clogged drains and years of deferred maintenance will. That's not a weather forecast. New York spent decades deferring the maintenance bill. May 21, 2026. Mark this would actually be the biggest infrastructure story. This is the last time it rains. You updated, turn on notifications. And I have a friend who's a news producer out there in New York. And this person posted on the subway, it's raining all down the subway cars while standing outside looking at the subway. Underground, flooding because the subways are flooding. It's a problem. Representative Keith Self has some thoughts on what's coming for us and whether it's good or bad.
Americans need to understand the federal government could tell you you can't buy that F-350 pickup because they don't want you to have a diesel pickup to begin with. They want you to go electric. Or what about if you just visit a gun store? We could go on and on, but this will be a programmable digital currency that the federal government would then be able to say, you go into a gun store, we're going to turn off your bank account. Think of the Canadian truckers several years ago when they protested. What did the Canadian government do? They shut down their bank account altogether. That's what this would give the federal government the authority and the ability to do.
Don't let them do that.
Americans need to understand the federal government.
And central bank digital currency forever. This is the future under a CBDC. Total government control of your money, your spending, and your life. Protest the government, account frozen. Buy a gun, denied. Buy a truck, denied. Wall Street Ape says Chevron is letting customers know in California that it's not Donald Trump causing the insane gas prices in the state. It's California state Democrats.
Over local jobs and lower costs. This is at the Chevron right here. All right, check it out.
Sacramento policies did this. Now you pay more. Chevron just added these new signs to their pumps, educating customers. California politicians are choosing foreign oil and fuels over local jobs and lower costs. This is what we need. Huge companies willing to educate the public and tell the truth. It's Gavin Newsom and Democrat policies causing $6.30 per average cost of gallon of gas in California. Matt Whitlock says a U.S. hospital has taken $1 billion from taxpayers to help poor patients. But instead of helping poor patients, they paid executive millions, built an art museum, built an NBA practice facility, and a building in Abu Dhabi. Meet the Cleveland Clinic.
Introducing a brand new segment today called Waste, Fraud, and Abuse Wednesday. Now,
Oh,
one
boy.
thing that's been getting a lot of attention in these last few weeks is particularly fraud in Ohio.
Now to a fraud scheme that could potentially cost taxpayers in Ohio hundreds of millions of dollars. Yet a recent audit revealing major red flags in that state's Medicaid program.
Medicaid fraud issues in Ohio, the state that I used to represent in the United States Senate.
This is the easiest way to put money back in people's pockets. Crush the Medicaid fraud. We're talking about billions of dollars in savings, which for Ohio is a really big deal.
Now, I particularly like this conversation about how fighting waste, fraud, and abuse can actually reduce costs and fight against any affordability issue that people are feeling. And in Medicaid and healthcare in particular, that is an area that is ripe for the government to look into and to make major changes. Now, a lot of this has focused on fraudulent providers, like fraudulent hospice care workers, home health care workers. That was a huge part of the Daily Wire's incredible reporting, and it's something we know they're digging into. But the other piece that I want to highlight today going on in Ohio is the insane abuse of woke hospital programs like 340B. Cleveland Clinic in Ohio has taken $933 million in 340B related revenue and savings, according to a report from the Senate, including Senate Help Committee Chairman Bill Cassidy. Now, this program, as we've talked about quite a bit, was built to help lower income people get discounts for medications they can't afford. But there's a loophole in this that allows hospitals to charge full price and not actually give that discount to patients. So they take a massive windfall, like that $933 million I just mentioned for Cleveland Clinic. What do they do with that? They do things like build a giant 7,000-piece art museum. They pay their executives, even though it's a nonprofit hospital, millions of dollars in giant salaries. They put money towards things like a practice facility for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They build facilities in Abu Dhabi. All of this subsidized by our tax dollars in a program that was meant to help lower income patients who are not getting any help at all from this. So once again, Democrats and hospitals have found a way to rejigger this program to take money from the people who need it and create another waste, fraud, and abuse dynamic that hurts people and enriches a weird corporate hospital system. So for those looking into waste, fraud, and abuse in the healthcare system, take a look at Cleveland Clinic. You'll also find examples of this all around the country in these insane programs that are taking our healthcare dollars and betraying patients and taxpayers.
Fantastic. Gunther Eagleman, absolute meltdown in Colorado. Democrats just censured their own governor, Jared Polis, for commuting Tina Peters' sentence and banned him from speaking or being honored at any party events. Can you believe that? 90% of the Colorado Democratic Party voted to punish Polis for showing even a shred of basic humanity and justice. Tina Peters, the election integrity warrior they tried to destroy, is now free, and the radical left is having a full psychotic break. This is who they are. No dissent allowed, no mercy allowed, no deviation from the cult allowed. John Cameron. Says, I'm a J6er. I protested a stolen election, walked right past police through an open door, and police let me in. My father's stepson turned me into the FBI. My house was raided. They branded me a traitor and an insurrectionist. They slapped me on a terrorist watch list. Well, isn't that special? I pled guilty to illegal picketing, a Class B petty offense misdemeanor with the same sentencing guidelines as walking your dog off leash on a national park. They swore no prison time. They lied. Judge Hogan sentenced me to 30 days for not being remorseful enough and 3 years probation to tie me up through the elections. An unconstitutional split sentence. My judge, Judge Hogan, called J6 worse than the War of 1812. All I did was chant "Stop the Steal" inside the Capitol and wear the wrong t-shirt. God bless the J6. Talking about SPLC, well, let's check in on some Democrats. Newly uncovered post from Democrat Senate candidate for Maine, Graham Plattner, shows him wishing for the capture and K-ing of a U.S. soldier by the Taliban. He's just dancing to Wrecking Ball here with his Nazi tattoo, allegedly. Not familiar with that tattoo. But P. Hustle says, this video never gets old. Dumb MFer didn't deserve to live. Oh, is that him? At least his stupidity and fat-ass wheezing are available for all future infantrymen to witness and hold in contempt. Poor marksmanship on the Taliban's part is the only reason this mouth breather made it home. He managed to make every possible decision possible when it comes to a small unit combat. Wishing for the capture and K-ing of a U.S. soldier by the Taliban. Boston T says, I can't stop watching this. A Korean influencer flies to France to do a stream to debunk right-wing myths that French cities are supposedly dangerous because of the presence of African immigrants in them. Well, he lands, and let's see how the video goes.
And then, hello, yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, YouTube. Me, my face. Don't come to me. Okay. Huh? So my face. Yeah, my face. You don't come to me, then you don't my screen. Hello. Do you speak English? English. Yeah. What do you? No. 이때. Sorry? Why? Okay. Chill. My face. It's my face.
Chill. I'm showing my face.
Okay, my face. Okay.
Instantly surrounded. Barely stepped out of the cab, attacked by a group of people right away. He walked literally just a few hundred meters. He got slapped in the face, lost a shoe, and then they stole his tripod. Sorry to spoil it for you, but this is what...
Oh, fuck this way.
Way to prove the far right, whatever that means, wrong.
Okay. Okay, I'm coming. I'm leaving.
Oh, they're chasing
I'm
down.
leaving. Help me!
Help me, police.
Police! Help me! Please help me! Police!
That went well.
No!
Still getting tracked down.
Why? What do you mean? English. Please. Hey, please. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Getting hit. Okay. All this in broad daylight on an open street. Go figure. Mays says 6 months ago, Thomas Massie said if the names of all the guilty men aren't released with the Epstein files, he'd read them on the floor of the House. He spent the past 6 months accusing Trump of protecting pedos. He should read the names just like he said he would.
We will know when the Epstein files are released because men will go to prison. And until that happens, the justice hasn't been served. There's no way they're going to cover up the crimes that have been perpetrated on 1,000 victims. So names of rich and powerful men will get released when the president signs this bill. We know when they're out because we know what some of these lists, who some of the men are. I don't have the names in my head right now. The ultimate thing that we could do is read the names on the floor of the House, and that could happen, but what needs to happen is the FBI needs to release these names.
Is that something you might do if he resists this, if the DOJ releases this? Could you go to the floor and read these names?
We absolutely would do that. Marjorie would do that. I would do that. There are Democrats who would do that. We will know.
Marjorie's gone. You're gone. Democrats are going to get swept up. So we'll see. Don't you just love disarmed countries? Yep. You could post this every day, Ortho. Never leave your cave without your club. Exactly. Told you about justice for Henry Novak. Free taxpayer-funded massages are being provided for the homeless on Skid Row, apparently.
Had a woman give birth in our courtyard restroom. We are administering Narcan to people daily. It's a really hard life here in Skid Row, which makes it that much more important that the Midnight Mission is here, providing hope and services every day.
Too much music. You get $5 million in government grants in 1 year and head to Skid Row to provide the homeless with massages and dancing. Okay. Now, full disclosure, I have cooked turkeys to donate to the Midnight Mission. Several years for Thanksgiving. Massages. Okay. Hey, let's check in with the squad. Here's Ayanna Pressley at a podium talking to Americans and reinventing the story of America.
One promise has been kept to Black Americans in this country when every bit of prosperity you enjoy was built on our backs.
Are you sure about that? And if you look at 2026, we're treated completely equally. Deviations from equal treatment is not permitted. But she just wants to be divisive and angry, so that's the Democrat message.
400 years of labor. So we are long overdue for reparations. I'm proud to be the lead sponsor of H.R. 40.
Yeah, so people who never did anything would be forced, well, not forced to give, would have their resources stolen from them to give to people who never suffered under what you're claiming. Brilliant strategy. Good luck in the midterm.
Black folks are certainly deserving of redress. And
one group of people is not certainly deserving of stealing money from other people for things they didn't do. No.
And reparative work, and one bill will not undo centuries of harm. One promise.
Okay, good luck with that, Ayanna Pressley and the Democrats. Check out yesterday's show. Trump goes 37-0 with endorsements and retires Thomas Massie. Barney Frank gone at 86. I changed the date. Or I changed his age, rather. Mark Cuban talking with President Trump about Trump RX.
Mr. President, I think other than you, I've been the biggest proponent of TrumpRx.com. And the reason for that is Republicans want cheaper drugs, independents want cheaper drugs, Democrats want cheaper drugs, and together, I think we're going to do something special. What makes Cost Plus Drugs different is that when you click through Trump RX to our site, not only will you see a great price, but you'll see our actual cost and that we only mark it up 15%. And what makes this incredible, Mr. President, all the volume and all the people that are going to come from the site, as our volumes go up, our costs go down, which means we'll be ending up charging less to people over a period of time. So this is a special announcement. This is a special partnership. 559 of those drugs are ours, so we're really excited to be part of this. Thank you so much for having me. And I'll turn it over to Chris Klopp. Thank you.
And I like what Mark Cuban's doing to try to deliver cheap drugs. One bad dude called Thomas Massey, Nikki Haley with a smaller pine cone. Oh boy, that's just a silly slander. So what is this? Seems like the sheriff has the goods on Mr. Sterling, who's insisting there's no fraud. Berry County Sheriff's Office, Feb 6, 26, Director Tulsi Gabbard, complaining that the Director of National Intelligence is involved in the Georgia election system now. Digging in. Will we get some proof? Will we get some definitive proof that can hold people accountable? Gabe Sterling was Raffensperger's right hand at the Georgia Secretary of State, and he just lost the GOP primary for the job. In 2020, he was on TV insisting there was no fraud. Then it turned out someone had fraudulently voted using his own home address. Tonight, MAGA returned the favor. That's incredible. At his own address. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you for coming here to my bar. I appreciate you so much. My shift is just about over. I've already clocked out and I've gone ahead and cashed you out for today. If you look at your tab, it says 0. But if you'd like to tip something, there's a tip jar at the bottom. You can throw some silver coins back behind me if you wish. Rumble rant tip, super chat tip. You can become a monthly subscriber on Patreon and Rumble and YouTube. Collect them all. Or you can drop something over on PayPal or PayPal at fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com or on Venmo or Cash App. That's my name, Brian Engelman, and all of that is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, so you can pause it and toss a tip in. All right, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, digging through the info. Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Trash Panda. Thank you, Marion. Thank you, David. Thank you, Ortho. Thank you, everybody who was in here chitty-chatting with us, having a good time. Tomorrow, there will be more. So signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you, I love you, and we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.